It's recording. There we go. So we're going to start with a little discussion, but let me just remind you, remember, my class really shouldn't be called debate. It should be called speech and debate. And remember, there's 21 kinds of speech and debate. You're going to learn your first official one today, which is fun. It is a very fun kind of debate. Some of them are serious. Yes, today's SPAR. Some of them are not. And this happens to be one that is really silly, meant to teach you some good debate strategy, but without it being overwhelming. Now, debate 2, y'all get choices. You absolutely can just completely skip sparring today and do tournament prep. The only thing I'm going to ask you, if you are going to do tournament prep today, will you please turn whatever you do, like a little bit of proof, into one of those assignments? It doesn't need to be both. However, when we're actually doing the arguments, if you feel like sparring, you're welcome to join or judge, but you won't have to, okay? Okay, the rest of you, we're going to start with, I have some questions. There are not right or wrong answers to this question. I'm just going to ask you, and if you feel like being brave and sharing, which is a big deal, I have gauntlets, okay? So, again, there's no right or wrong. First question is, why in debate would you possibly be forced to debate a side you might not agree with? I'm going to say that again. That's a hefty question to wrap your brain around. So in debate, we might force you to debate a side you don't necessarily personally agree with. Why? So Mac, what's one possible answer?
Because it shows a good debater who's not only doing their topic, they can also do a topic that they're not so familiar with, or a side that they prefer not be on, but still.
Absolutely, and I don't think that's the only answer, but I think that's exactly right. That it shows a sign of such a great debater. If you are debating something that you don't even personally believe, but you can convince somebody else, oh boy, that is some skills. Okay, okay, go for it.
It might have more evidence that you can use.
Interesting, and I like that you are thinking about evidence as a debater. That's a really big deal. Okay, and then Ethan, what was your thing, sir?
You could learn more about that thing, and then you could help your previous argument a lot more using what you've learned earlier, like the one you did.
Absolutely, right? Like learning from sometimes mistakes, learning from things we didn't know, but then now we do know, I think is extremely legitimate. Okay, now I want to move on. The next question is a little bit tougher. So remember, there's not exactly right or wrong answers. So in debate, as I start teaching you like official kinds of debate, there are certain time limits for each kind of debate and certain constraints that we put on you as debaters. And so the answer, or the question is, why? Why would we force you to debate under the constraints of certain amounts of time? So I'm going to let Maddie start.
Like, anyone can, convince someone if you have long enough, you know? But it shows that you're, skilled if you, can do it in brevity.
Very good. Extremely well-worded answer also. Exactly. And I do think there are other answers as well, but I just want to check. Do you have your Chromebook with you? Yeah.
Yeah, she's not charged.
Okay, that's okay. So let me have you borrow one of mine, and then you're just going to need it for today for the debate, and then you can take a second and get signed in. Okay, and then what do you think?
It makes it so you don't have time to just talk about gibberish and stuff. You have to get your point across quick, so you can't
Exactly.
talk about it.
That's another very correct answer. Did you have a different idea? That's okay. And then the other thing that I'll tell you, because I'm going to teach you about this new kind of debate, but we kind of place these constraints on you. We tell you you have to debate in certain ways in certain time, and it all adds to the game. Really, you kind of have to think of debate as a game. And there's going to be winners and there's going to be losers, and that's okay. But when we place extra kind of challenges on you, it forces you to show your skills even more, kind of what you guys were saying, right? That if you can do it and you can do it in these times, then it's extra impressive. But that being said, I want everybody to come to this one right here, and it will look like this. If you're on an assignment that doesn't have that picture, it's the wrong one. So make sure you're on the assignment that says Learn SPAR Debate. I'm going to teach it to you. We get to watch a ridiculous example from Rhett and Link, and then we're actually going to debate each other. Yes, Rhett and Link, yes. So everybody make sure you're right there. Now, this is a very easy grade, but also if you don't actually follow along and you're not with me, you're going to be confused when it actually comes to the debating part. So everybody go ahead, open up this first link right here. So we're on Learn SPAR Debate. Make sure it has that picture and not another one. Open up the first force you to make a copy, it looks like this. And I want to show you two quick, like, kind of pieces of advice, okay? So first one is, see where my mouse is wiggling over there? Definitely go and move it into your debate folder right now. If you don't have a debate folder, click that, but I think we've already established that lots of you did. And the second thing is, I know lots of you know it, but just in case you don't, the zoom button is your friend, okay? So zoom and then click. Now, it looks like a lot, it's really, really, really easy, and we'll make sure everybody has the right answers before you turn it in. But if you actually follow along, not only will you know what you're doing when it comes to debate, it'll help you remember, you'll get an easy grade, all sorts of good stuff, okay? So, does anyone need help getting to this point? Okay, so this should be the only thing on your screen. Don't be tempted by other tabs, okay? So, I'm gonna tell you stuff, I will repeat it multiple times, but your job is to pay attention. When I use the handy dandy pointer, make sure you are actually filling in the notes. SPAR is an acronym. We love acronyms in debate. We like being fancy and like having our own language. So SPAR is actually short for spontaneous argument. So you're gonna put the rest of spontaneous, because I put the SP for you, and then I put the AR in argument, and then you put the rest of argument. Yeah, so spontaneous argument. So SPAR debate, this is an official kind of debate. Like in high school, you could literally go to a debate tournament and do spontaneous argument debate and get a trophy. We don't in middle school, but we do use it to help teach basic strategy. So spontaneous argument. Now, we have to be clear. Somebody do something spontaneous so we're on the same page right now.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, exactly. That was perfect. I like all the random noises. That's being spontaneous. You don't have to like prep for a million years to be spontaneous. That was glorious. So spontaneous argument. Now, right here, this blank, it's affirmative. You'll also see that I put AFF, AF. That's on the word wall now. That's a really critical, basic, like debate terminology. AF, or affirmative, because we love like shortening things. So AF is the side that agrees. So again, AF agrees with the given topic. And SPAR topics are fun and easy. Stuff like which is better, Takis or Doritos? Or which is better, like Coke or Pepsi? So fun, easy stuff, right? But AF agrees. Both of them have debates, right? They're arguable, yeah. AF agrees. AF agrees, which means neg for negative. Neg disagrees. Make sure you're following along. So far we've had spontaneous argument, AF agrees, neg disagrees, okay? So if one side is Coke, the other side would be Pepsi. If one side is Takis, the other side is Doritos, yeah. Is it being slow letting you in? Just making sure. Okay, yeah. So spontaneous argument, AF agrees, neg disagrees. Okay, moving on, and I know we're going fast, so please ask if you missed any of the links, okay? So clash. Like, a lot of us, when we envision debate, we envisioning two people, like, in each other's faces, like, screaming at each other. That's kind of what clash is. Clash is truly, like, debating back and forth. So here's your blanks. There's two of them. Ready? Clash is the part of the debate where debaters ask questions to show flaws. That is the first blank. Flaws in the opposing side's arguments. And to try and trick, that's that second blank. To trick them into agreeing with your side. Clash is so much fun. You get to point out why they're like, not dumb, but like kind of think about it that way, right? Like I'm showing that you were wrong and I am correct, which is always fun. You're showing flaws and you try and trick them in whatever way you can to agree with you. Because if they agree, oh boy, you just won, which is awesome. So flaws, trick. We got it? Can we move on? Okay? And dropping is a really important thing to avoid in debate, okay? We kind of did it with werewolves. So we had played Werewolves of Miller's Hollow / Coatesville, and we said that if your opponent brings up an argument, if you don't attack them back with a rebuttal, that's bad, because it means that you're basically agreeing with them. I don't want them to win. I want to destroy my opponent, right? So I have to directly, this is right here, to not directly argue against an opponent's argument. It's bad, so it's called dropping. So directly is that blank right there, to not directly argue against their arguments. So you have to keep track of what they say so you can respond and rebut their arguments, okay? So not directly is right there. You're doing great. Now, this is the weird part. I will start this by saying, if you are a fan of making Mrs. Holyoke laugh, which I totally am, she used to be my hallway buddy. My classroom used to be way on the other side of the building, and kids would come up to me in the hall, and they would sing this song at me, and then I would give them a goblet of goodness, which you totally can also do. But Mrs. Holyoke was my hallway neighbor for so long that, like, this makes her laugh every single time. So, with that being said, debate 2, this is one of those times you get called on. I need you guys to help me remember 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 1. We're going to model the ridiculous thing you're about to do. And debate 2, ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 1, debate 2. Come on, you guys. You can do this, ready? Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 1. Sophie gets automatic candy for being the person who tried it the most. Good job with the dirty hand, like, yeah.
I did for a little bit.
Yeah. So the reason why we sing is because it gets it stuck in your brain. And the reason why we do this is there's lots of research that actually says when you connect learning with movement, it gets it stuck in your brain. I'm gonna be annoying and make you stand up. Stand up really quick. We're just gonna do it. It's gonna be weird and that's okay. Embrace the weird. Embrace the weird. Okay, ready? And you're good. Ready? 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 1. Again. 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 1. Last time. 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 1. I know that's dumb. It's the worst thing I'll ever make you do a debate. You guys rock. So that is this blank right here. This is the Nerdy Time Limit song, which now gets it stuck in your brain forever. Okay, Nerdy Time Limit song. So that's that blank. So let's break it down. Because again, we're gonna place constraints on you and then see if you can thrive with an extra challenge, right? So this first 1 minute right here, everybody, we start out SPAR debate with 1 minute of prep. Is this blank right here? Prep. P-R-E-P, prep. And so we basically give you time to just sit and think. Like, self, what do I want to debate about? You've got 1 minute to sit and think, okay? There's a pattern here. 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 1. So both of these are opening speeches. So we have AF, opening for 2 minutes, and neg, opening for 2 minutes. So prep, AF opening, neg opening. So one side speaks, then the other side speaks, right? After we've prepped. AF opening, neg opening. 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 1. Okay? 3 is clash. 3 is clash. Where you try and trick your opponent into agreeing with you. You try and point out their flaws. You get to yell at them. You get to do whatever you can to try and show that you are more correct than they are. So this 3 minute is clash. It gets loud. It'll be fun. And then we've got the pattern. 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 1. So these 1 minutes are closing. So AF, closing speech. Neg, closing speech. AF, closing. Neg, closing. You guys are doing really great. We're almost done with note taking, and then we get to do the fun example, and then we get to argue with each other. It'll be great. Before I move on from the slide, does anybody need me to repeat anything? And please don't feel bad, because I do not mind. I know I went really fast. For real. Anything you need repeated? Okay. So, almost there. Some possible things that you might debate about. Usually SPAR is funny and weird. So the U is better than BYU, that one is very heated. We've done that before, it gets really intense, but you could do a SPAR debate about that. We will do this one together. Goldfish are not legitimate pets is so debatable because one side will argue that and the other side will be like, nuh-uh, they actually are legitimate pets. What do you mean? Personal opinion, people who haven't read Harry Potter are missing out. These are probably more serious than we will ever do, but it could be something like air pollution should be Utah's #1 concern, right? Or the US should avoid war. Usually though, we save serious topics like that for more advanced kinds of debate. SPAR is which is better, cookies or cake? Or right, Cookie Monster or Elmo or funny stuff, right? So a couple more things you have to know before we can actually SPAR ourselves, okay? So one student is assigned, that's that top link right here, everybody. One student is assigned the AF and one the neg. So we'll tell you, are you going to agree or are you going to disagree? Okay, yeah.
So you mean on the spot they tell you what you're debating?
Which is why it's spontaneous. Exactly correct, yeah. Okay, this one right here. So there's different ways that you get assigned. Sometimes it's with a coin toss. Sometimes we use computer software that will randomly assign you one side or the other. With SPAR, we do rock, paper, scissors. And so we'll debate and we'll rock, paper, scissors. Whoever wins is actually the neg. So write neg, and I'm gonna
That's
show you
easier.
why.
Because that's easier than
Kind of.
come up with the speech.
Sort of. The winner is neg because they get the last word. They are the last one to speak, which means if there was a judge, which today there won't be, but if there was a judge, if I'm the last one to talk, I'm the most fresh one in the judge's brain, and sometimes that might work out in my favor. So that's why the neg is the winner right there. Neg is the winner, and this one was assigned, okay? So this seems evil, but I promise you it's not meant to be evil. All students are gonna take notes while they debate to make sure they don't drop arguments and to track who is the most successful debater. So notes lead to success. You take notes, it helps you prove who is more successful. So, LDers, debate 2, do you agree that you cannot win without taking notes? Correct, right, you literally cannot win in debate if you don't take notes. So it's not meant to kill you off, it just literally leads to more success. Thank you for agreeing with me, and I didn't even pay you to get you to agree. Okay, and this is a healthy, important trick. So some students will take notes in 2 different colors, one for AF and one for neg. And the reason why is it's a really, really easy way to visually differentiate who was more successful because they made more arguments. Like if I did AF in blue and I did neg in purple, and then I see there's a way more blue writing on my notes than there are purple, then the judge probably already knows who should win because somebody obviously had way more to say. Sometimes you'll get judged like that, okay? So colors, usually you'll take notes in 2 different colors. This is one of the most tough things, only because it's hard to fight this instinct, okay? But right here, it says opening speeches are for building, is this blank. They're for building initial arguments. You have to build your arguments before your opponent comes along and tries to destroy them. So same thing, but now the opposite side. Closing speeches are for attacking, is this blank right here. Closing speeches are for attacking your opponent's arguments. So first we build up arguments, then we attack them and try and completely destroy your arguments, which is so much fun. So building, attacking, building, attacking. Now, poor first period, not only did they not have, I hadn't even thought to make text boxes for them.
Didn't we learn that when we did creative writing?
Yeah, but first period also, I forgot to just show them the notes. So in case you missed any, because I'm giving you a grade for this, here are the completed notes. If you missed any of these, put them right now. I'm only gonna stay on this slide for 30 more seconds, and then I'm gonna show you slide 2, and then we're gonna go turn it in, and we're done taking notes, okay? But make sure you got all those blanks. This is literally how I grade it, ready? If you miss a blank, I take away a point. But also, it just matters that you know this. Okay, so make sure, I'll give you 15 more seconds here. For people who are watching this video, I will also post a link to these notes, but I won't have time to do that until after school today. And, was that enough time? Can I move on?
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay, I heard a no, so I'll wait for just another second. Okay, next is, here you go. As soon as you are done, go turn it in on Canvas. Super easy. And SPAR is so much fun and easier than you realize. I'm literally gonna walk you through it this very first time. But as you are turning this in, then everybody go find the assignment that says SPAR debate practice, okay? So this was learn SPAR debate, and then everybody go on Canvas and find the one that says practice SPAR debate. Okay, so you should have turned this in. Hold on, I wanna wait for another 10 seconds. I always get that feedback from students, but you go too fast, which is true. So I'm trying to be more patient. Okay. Now, you will know that you're on the correct assignment if it has the following meme. Ready? I've been having fun finding memes for my assignments. Right here. And remember, I told you we have speech events and debate, we have debate events, and then we have SPAR, which is its silly cousin. So it's meant to be the fun one, okay? Again, this is your next part of today. Open up that document. We're gonna talk about it in just a second. But before we do that, you should have turned in your notes right here. And I get to show you Rhett and Link, we're not gonna watch this whole thing. But Rhett and Link are pretty famous YouTubers. I heard lots of you already knew them. They do what is called Debate-O-Rama. It's basically SPAR. It's just slightly different. I'm gonna show you just a few minutes of theirs, not only because it's entertaining, but I'm gonna point out some of the successful strategies that they're using, okay? So you have another second to turn in your notes, but other than that, I want you to ignore your computers and Debate-O-Rama, Rhett and Link.
Today we debate pirates versus ninjas. Let's talk about that.
Okay, let me skip ahead to where they actually start, because they always have their intro. Okay, yeah, I do too. It's just I want to get to you guys debating as quick as we can. First strategy. Did you see that sportsmanship, guys? Did you see that, like, nice, firm, like, sincere handshake? Ooh, it's a good strategy. Yes, you're trying to destroy your opponent, but you can't be really mean at the same time. So I like that they came in and shook hands very first thing. Okay.
Oh, you mean my first
Always
one?
have a second to settle in.
It'll blow over, they always do.
Good morning, Mr. Rhett and Mr. Link.
Good morning to you, kind moderator.
Today we're debating pirates versus ninjas.
Good morning, mythical beast. Thank you, everyone, for
Link,
watching.
you're gonna
I'll
go
take
first.
ninjas.
Link,
I would gladly take pirates. Neither one of us has prepared, and we haven't written anything down here.
Right? It's spontaneous. All of us like being humans with eyes and ears. Like, we have seen and heard things about pirates and ninjas. You don't have to be an expert for this kind of debate.
Link, you're going first. You have 90 seconds for your introduction.
Okay, yes.
And it begins.
Other thing I want to point out just really fast. Notice the clip-on ties. I know it seems really silly, but there is really and truly something to be said for dressing for success. So even something as ridiculous as throwing on a clip-on tie, it shows you're going to take it seriously. And then, because something very weird is about to happen, think back to Friday, everybody, and look at the word wall if you need to. What skill did we practice on Friday? I have a piece of candy for anyone who can remember. Raise your hand. And Maddie, you got your hand up first.
ATVs.
Can you tell me what AGD stands for? Okay, that's okay.
Oh, no, I know it. It's like. No.
That's okay. AGD, you got halfway there, so that's candy. Now for another piece of candy, who can remember what AGD stands for? Hold on. Yeah, I know debate too, and I'm so glad you do. That's okay. AGD. Attention. What is it? Ah, good. Candy. Attention grabbing or getting. Either one. They're synonymous, right? They're synonyms. Attention grabbing device or attention getting device. It's a hook. So he's about to start with a very weird but extremely effective attention grabbing device. AGD, ready?
Now, take a moment and picture your ideal life. What do you see? Do you see yourself on a giant ship? Yes, you do. The open ocean stretching out in all directions. All your best mates surrounding you. Adventure on the horizon and unlimited rum at your fingertips. No, I haven't just described a weekend on Leonardo DiCaprio's yacht. I have described every single day in the life of a pirate. Like Leo, pirates.
So right there, that whole, it took him 15 seconds. That was a really good, weird AGD. It's silly, right? And he obviously just made it up. But hopefully he sort of got your attention, and now you're hopefully not bored. And so he can make arguments.
Are glamorous. They're talented, they have impeccable facial hair, they're seasoned travelers with a vast knowledge of the world and of fashion. Plus, they have awesome names. Blackbeard, Bluebeard, Captain Jack, Calico Jack, the Barbarossa brothers. Name one ninja. Pirates are entertaining, so much so, Disney gave them their own theme park ride. If ninjas had a ride, it'd be so boring you wouldn't even know what was happening until it was over. But who makes a theme park ride that's so amazing that it's adapted into one of the biggest blockbuster movie franchises of all time? Aye, me hearties, it'd be only pirates. But most importantly, pirates take command. Pirates don't ask where you want to have dinner. They tell you, and then they take you to the most incredible restaurant you've ever dined at. Then they order for you because it's perfect. They know exactly what you want, when you want it, before you want it, before you even know what you wanted. Then they lean in close and they whisper, I am the captain now. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Alright, thank you, Mr. Link.
Okay, 3 very successful strategies I want to point out. Number 1, he used every second second of his time, which is critical in debate. It will happen to you. You'll have opponents who just like give up like half of their time. Those kids don't win. And it is tough. And so not being mean to those kids, but you are gonna know better because you're on my team and we make a big deal out of filling in your time. No matter what it is, you gotta try and practice filling it in. Also, really successful. Did you see how when he was talking, his opponent was listening respectfully and taking notes? Which is because then he has to go respond to all those arguments he made. So that's exactly the kind of thing we want to see. Now, what I want to ask you is, so that is Link, right? Is that right? Yeah, that's Link. Did it seem like Link is like actually an expert on pirates?
No.
But did he have enthusiasm?
Yes.
Yeah, really critical in debate. So even if you actually don't care about your topic, fake enthusiasm can go a very long way, okay? So the next thing you're about to see, they call it cross-examination. We called it clash. So there's no formal rules for who's gonna talk when. They get to interrupt each other, they can ask questions, they're gonna try and trick them into agreeing with their side, they're gonna point out the flaws, but they have a little cross-examination.
Mr. Rat, it's time for your 30-second
Hey, order
cross-examination.
And you didn't. You said name one ninja. I can name a few. How about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? There's
Yes.
4 of those. They're not real ninjas. They're not pirate ninjas. Pirate turtles. Power Rangers, technically ninjas. 1993 film Surf Ninjas.
They look more like
Ever heard about
motorcycles.
that? 1992 film Three Ninjas. That's 3 kids that were ninjas. Even kids can be ninjas.
You're already reaching. This is great.
And technically, Batman is a ninja with an amazing utility belt. And let me point out that a yacht and a pirate ship are very dissimilar.
All right, Mr. Rat.
And Leo DiCaprio is not on
Order,
that.
please. Mr. Rat, it's time for your 90-second
Okay, so what Link started with, you get time to build your arguments. Now Rhett has to do the same thing. Rhett is going to introduce before Link starts attacking him. And notice the AGD. You didn't think it could get weirder, but guys, it can. Rhett's AGD is so weird. Okay, here we go.
I would like to thank everybody here in Mythical Beast, unlike my debater did. You're welcome. Imagine for a moment that
Did you catch on to that?
Yeah.
Very smart strategy. You can't do it being rude, but pointing out what your opponent is doing wrong is awesome, right? He said, I would like to thank everyone, unlike my opponent. So pointing out flaws, awesome. Okay, here we go. EGD, attention grabbing device.
that you're sitting at your kitchen table enjoying a bowl of frosted mini wheats and chocolate milk with a spoonful of peanut butter. The room is still and silent.
Okay.
Nothing seems out of the ordinary when suddenly and unexpectedly you feel a sharp pain as your head slowly slides off your neck and onto the floor. And then your neck spouts blood like those fountains in front of the Bellagio. You, sir, have just been slain by a ninja. Stealth. Espionage.
That whole thing was his AGD, right? Like, you're sitting eating this, like, weird cereal concoction, and here you go, you're being attacked, right? Awesome AGD, really weird, and now he can make arguments.
Sabotage, infiltration, assassination. These are the hallmarks of the highly trained and highly skilled killers known as ninja.
Notice the note-taking!
Body odor, peg legs, drunken stupors, shoulder parrots. These are the hallmarks of the clearly inferior and deck-scrubbing losers known as pirates. If you had to choose between a ninja and a pirate to be your best friend, would you choose the sweaty guy with this weird sort of British accent who's always intoxicated and trying to steal your stuff? Or would you choose the totally cool guy who's always dressed in black, keeps to himself, and can silently kill anyone who's giving you trouble?
Okay, again, we have to ask ourselves, is there enthusiasm for the topic? Yes or no? You tell me.
Yes.
Absolutely. But most kids your age do not do that. So if you can learn that one lesson from me, you're already gonna do so much better than your opponents. Okay? Okay. Hold on.
History's greatest and most.
rewind.
Or would you choose the totally cool guy who's always dressed in black, keeps to himself, and can silently kill anyone who's giving you trouble? Ninjas have cemented their status as one of history's greatest and most feared combatants. They don't need me to argue for them. But because I believe so thoroughly in their superiority, I will stand against the seafaring scourge that is piratism and say, long live the ninja, the ultimate killing machine.
All right, thank you, Mr. Rat.
Okay. Remember how I told you not to waste any time?
Yeah.
Okay, that is true. As funny as I think Rhett is, I don't highly recommend filling in your time with random sound effects. But when it comes to SPAR and it's just fun, like sure, why not? You'd probably not do that in a real debate, but I am gonna tell you the trick if you're ever stuck. If you are debating and you look at your time and you're like, oh my gosh, I still have 30 seconds, the trick is to have a little summary and review of some of your best points, okay? But I appreciate Rhett's strategy of random sound effects. Okay, let's watch cross-examination, and then it is time! We're gonna debate each other. Okay.
Started doing sound effects. Yeah, why not? Okay,
Mr.
problem with
Lincoln.
that, Pirate Boy?
30-second cross-examination.
Why is a ninja assassinating me during breakfast? Like, what's going on here?
Because
is that a
he
personal
can.
threat?
He can't.
That's a low blow.
He
It's not
can,
a
and you
debate.
won't know.
Have you ever seen cool facial hair on a ninja?
Yes, have you seen a kung fu mustache?
That's not a ninja, Rhett.
But
That's
it
a
could
kung
be.
fu master.
Yeah, but he could be a ninja. It comes right out the
He's
front
not
of the
in a
mask.
debate.
It comes out right at the front of the mask.
Have you ever seen a ninja have fun?
I think killing people's fun.
I agree with
I
you.
imagine it to be.
Only in
Your Honor.
debate. Only in debate. Okay, so we are ready, guys. Now that we've learned about SPAR, we've watched a ridiculous example, it is time. So I see lots of you open this up already. If you didn't, open up this link right now. We are gonna do Halloween versus Christmas. And the thing is, this is extremely debatable. All of us, even if you don't celebrate those, which is 100% okay, even if you don't celebrate those, as a human in America right now, you know things about Halloween versus Christmas. So everybody do this with me. We're gonna come to AF. AF is Halloween, and NEG, so we'll replace it with Christmas. And if you didn't already do it, move it into your debate folder right now, and so that it's super easy to turn in. You're gonna get an extremely easy grade for this. You'll notice I put text boxes for you, and I'm gonna walk you through it. So, that being said, there will for sure be times where I just let you debate anybody in the class, but for the sake of time today, and only because I want you to actually have time to get through a full-length debate, I'm just gonna have you debate the person right next to you. So we're gonna do this, and then I'll walk you through it. So you two are debating each other. You switch over, and you two are debating each other. You two, you two, you two, you two, you two. See how nicely this works out. Debate two, do you want to spar or not so much? You guys already did this, yeah. Okay, everybody else, the time has come. You may rock, paper, scissors in whatever way you want, but it could be best out of three. But remember, whoever wins is Christmas, because Neg has the last word, which means winner gets Neg. So go, rock, paper, scissors, you said it. Okay, now, it has happened. It's happened literally every single year that I've ever done SPAR that somebody doesn't understand which side they're supposed to be. And guess what? It didn't happen in first period, which is now making me nervous that it's going to happen in sixth period. So, everybody make sure, and let's do this by raise of hand. So raise your hand if you lost and you are Halloween, which is affirmative. So that should be one of the two of you, yes. Now raise your hand if you won, which means you're Neg with Christmas. Okay, now, before I set the timer and give you the first part of the debate, you're gonna prep. This first time it's always a little tough, so I'm actually gonna give you more than 1 minute, because remember 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 1. So I'm actually gonna give you 2 minutes. Your job during that 2 minutes, there's gonna be frantic typing. On whatever side you are, you do not write full complete sentences, first of all, please just do bullet points. But you're gonna write down as many possible arguments as you can think of. Literally, there's no argument too small. And here's some suggestions. So I might write things down like personal experiences, experiences from other people that I've heard about, general knowledge. Maybe I heard something on the news one year, or maybe I do know a fact or statistic. But your job is to use as much of this 2 minutes that I'm about to start right now of planning out what it is you are about to say. So does anyone have questions before I officially start the time? Okay, I already heard some of you started, which is awesome. Keep going, go. There might be a phrase, right, that like it's these things, and if not, take the whole math class. Depends on what it is, but probably. Email me, I'll make sure it happens. Yeah. Okay, keep trying to fill in that time. It's normal to start running out of ideas, but remember, general knowledge, like experiences from yourself or your grandma or your mailman or anyone, the more you can plan right now, the easier your debate is going to be. Also, if you've got an extra second, start Googling stuff. Make sure you tell her like the purpose, right? Very limited time. I need a quick impressive 73s. Yeah. Okay, that is time, everybody. So, before we officially start like yelling at each other, want to make something really clear. So this was a long time ago, but SPAR is supposed to be fun. And I had a kid many, many years ago who was so invested in winning, which I get because I am extremely competitive, was so focused and so wanted to win that when it started not going well for him, it just became overwhelming. And he actually did start crying in the middle of class, which nobody ever wants to do. But that was tough for him to come back from that. So I always now use that as like a, hey, this is literally practice. It's not gonna be great for any of you. It shouldn't be, right? This is our first time debating. It's just gonna be a little fun, a little weird, a little silly, and you will learn a lot just by practicing. But remember, as long as you try and debate, I give you the points today, okay? So that being said, let me walk you through it so everyone knows exactly what is about to happen, okay? Remember, 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 1. Technically, a 2-minute opening speech is required. We're gonna do one because I know from lots of experience, it's too much time. We're gonna do a 1-minute opening speech. We're gonna start with Halloween is going to talk while Christmas sits and listens, and critical, Christmas, while you sit and listen respectfully, take notes on what they're saying so that you remember what it is you need to attack and destroy them upon, okay? So brief bullet points, do not write incomplete sentences, yes?
Make it sound more like war than a class.
It is, it's a debate war game.
It kind of feels like, how do you put in lessons? It feels like we're basically we're planning a war attack on a different country.
It is, it's like a verbal attack, literally. That's why I love debate. Like in what other like situation are you like encouraged to fight people with words, right? I think it's really fun. So, yeah, right, like lawyers, but. So, that being said, one person talk, one person listening, 1 minute to try and bring all this up. Remember, enthusiasm, and try not to give up any time. So, does everyone understand what's about to happen? Okay, 1 minute. Why is Halloween better than Christmas? Go.
I think Halloween is better than Christmas gives out 80 of my major snacks and drinks.
If you get stuck, tell a story or repeat yourself.
Christmas is more of a religious holiday, so some people do like Hanukkah, some other.
Just like tell a story from your life. Okay.
And Halloween is a night where you don't have to be yourself. Someone else.
10. Okay, and that's time. So it's hard your first time. So no one let that freak you out. It gets easier the more we try. What'd she say? I'm curious.
So there's like fancy words.
That like, yeah, that's what I was hoping for. Ah ha ha. So now go Google like what is the non-acronym version of that all? Yeah. Okay. So Exact same process, but now it's gonna switch. The biggest piece of advice I have for you right now. You have to fight against the urge to start attacking what they just said. And the reason why is if there was a judge listening to you, and the only thing you do is attack, it makes it seem like you don't have anything of your own to say. So instead of attacking them, don't do that yet. And now, Christmas, same process, is gonna talk for 1 minute. Halloween is going to listen and take notes, and then we'll attack later, Stu.
Can I go to the bathroom?
Absolutely, take the hall pass, okay? So does everybody understand what's about to happen? Remember, have fun with it. It's just meant to be practice, okay? Enthusiasm, fill in that time. 1 minute, why is Christmas better than Halloween? Go. Thirty seconds, keep going. Keep going, 10 seconds.
So everybody's happy.
Okay.
Sports,
That's time.
movies, and gifts.
First of all, you're doing great. This is exactly how it should go the first time. And what's about to happen is different, so listen for a second. So Clash. First of all, you don't really have to take notes during Clash. Clash is no official rule of who talks when. The kind of idea is not to let your opponent dominate the next, we're gonna do 1 minute. It's supposed to be 3, we're gonna do 1 for this first time, okay? The idea is to show that you are more knowledgeable and more powerful, even if you don't feel that way. So I told you earlier that fake confidence is a really big deal in debate, or fake enthusiasm is what I had said. But fake confidence, guys, goes a very long way. During this time, you're getting attacked, but if you can come across as calm and collected and knowledgeable, and I know what I'm doing, even if on the inside you're like, this is hard, I want to throw up and die, right? Even if on the inside you feel like that, on the outside you're going to project this very strong, knowledgeable persona, okay? So some fake confidence, and you can interrupt each other, just do it kindly. And the idea is trip them up. Show the flaws in their argument, see if you can get them to agree with you. But this is straight up back and forth debating. It's gonna get loud, okay? And that's okay. Does anyone have questions? Okay, 1 minute and go.
So you said that you are.
Alright, so I want one thing. So you said like I knew we were trying to do the there are a lot of funny movies too, like Trees, although I just care that there are like sports there's for like that holiday joy
Make sure, okay.
when you teach
Okay. I love watching Clash. It's so much fun. People get super into it. It's hard though, right? To like literally have someone in your face arguing with you and to have to come up with stuff to say. That's why it's spontaneous. So you're doing great. Now here's how it ends. We have 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 1. We're gonna do the full 1 minute closing speeches. The very, very important now. So I forced y'all to take notes because I'm evil and a fun ruiner. That's my job as a teacher, right? And because you have these notes, your job is to take them and attack everything they said in whatever way you can. You're not allowed to straight up lie. But really and truly, stuff like, okay, you said this, but I'm actually more correct because, and then you fill it in. Or when you said this, that's actually slightly incorrect because. Or when you said this, I have a different argument that outweighs that argument. Or when you said this, I have some research to disprove that. Or I actually am going to slightly agree with you on part of this one thing, but the other part of it was incorrect, right? Like there's so many ways that you could attack it. But your job is to use those notes, and if you don't attack one of them, and if you had a judge watching you right now, they would judge you based on that. So the idea is to respond and rebut as much as you can. And we start with Halloween. This is your last chance to talk. So you have to really go for it this last minute. Christmas, there's no interrupting. So sit and listen. And if there is anything you want to respond to, write it down so you remember to respond. Okay? Everybody understand what we're doing?
Yeah.
Halloween, last minute, and go.
Wait.
So we start with Halloween. It's one last minute.
No, I think we're gonna put my hands
And that's okay. So there is going to be some stuff that interrupts.
I also think that
yeah, I was gonna say, especially depending on your family. I always thought my family doesn't like talking about it, but we do. I guess we do sort of
Keep going. If you get stuck, repeat yourself.
there are tons of things that after all, that is.
also for there is
I don't know, I think it's all.
You guys are doing so great. Now, the bell's about to ring, but guess what? It's okay because everyone has earned candy today. So we're going to finish the debate, but I have a very important strategy for you. So the hardest thing about not being the last person to speak is you are not allowed to interrupt them, and it's going to kill you a little bit because you're like, oh, I have things I want to say, but I can't say them. So the strategy is to mess with them in subtle ways with your face and body language. So if I had somebody who's arguing at me and I can't respond, I might do things like this. Right? And I'm not going to be rude about it, but because I can't verbally talk, it doesn't mean I can't talk with my facial expressions and my body language. So that being said, Christmas, you've got the last word, 1 minute. And remember, attack everything they've said, go. 1 minute, go. Keep going, keep going. Don't give up. If you get stuck, repeat yourself. Okay. First of all, congratulations, you just did your first debate. Very, very important because judges will judge you from the second you walk in the room to when you walk out. So you are trying to put on this very professional persona of sportsmanship and caring about your opponent. So if you're comfortable, in a second, you'll give your opponent, in a second, a nice firm handshake. And also say something like, hey, I had a good time debating. Thank you so much for your time. If you're not comfortable, just say it and don't shake, but be aware of the floppy handshake. It needs to be short and professional and courteous and sincere. Okay, ready? Go. Hold on, debate 2 was saying something. What was that?
Show the handshake video. Ellen.
Will you remind me? I will do it first thing tomorrow. That is genius. I should have had that ready. Okay, now, heads up everybody. I have bus duty, so I have to leave immediately. But everyone earned candy, So as soon as, and turn in those notes, I'm so sorry, I should have said that like 2 seconds earlier. Turn in those notes, and everybody come get a piece of candy, and do it quickly because